In January of 23, I am like, I'm done. At this point, I have done a year and a half of just chaos. Like, my body is betraying me. I don't know which way is up. It's amazing to me that I was like able to work and like function and like be hopefully an effective therapist when every aspect of my personal life, my physical health, my emotional well-being, my mental state was in such rapid decline. And I say decline because it truly felt like somebody pulled the rug out from under me. Like, there was no way up. I remember standing in the shower crying daily, trying to like ask God why he was doing this to me and what I did to deserve it, because it didn't matter what I did. I wasn't getting better. And I finally just took matters into my own hands, and I started scheduling with any doctor that I could think of that would be effective in figuring out what the hell was happening. So I saw endocrinologists, I saw an infectious disease specialist, I saw a spine specialist because I had hurt my back. I tried to see a neurologist that specialized in this at Weill Cornell, but they wouldn't take me because I was still a patient of the original neurologist at Weill Cornell, who had said she gets migraines and that's what's going on. And I cannot tell you how freaking difficult and frustrating and annoying it is when you are a patient who knows that there's something else wrong with you, and yet you cannot be seen by doctors because they have labeled you a certain way and that is how it's supposed to go. And on one hand, I understand that to the untrained eye, I look like a hypochondriac who has an unhealthy obsession with going to a doctor's office. I get that. I actually did the math yesterday and I had seen 40 doctors in 3 years. And that's including like up until present day. I had seen 40 doctors. I had upward, I think 10-ish occurrences of imaging done. So like MRI or CAT scan. I had been to the emergency room 3 times. Like, I get it. None of this presents as me being like, oh yes, I know what's wrong with me. But I basically had to cast a wide net and figure out what the hell was going on because there was no way out of this for me. So in January of 2023, I decided to put myself in physical therapy, which ends up being the best decision that I could ever make because it got rid of my migraines. But when I tell you that I had to fight my neurologist tooth and nail about getting the PT script, I mean it. Literally, you would have thought that I was like, I had 6 heads. I was like, I want to go to physical therapy because I don't want to take Nurtec for the rest of my life. The Nurtec isn't even that effective. It's not helping me. I don't want to do this. So I finally go to physical therapy, and thank God for Clyde, because this man, incredible. He spent so much time learning about what was going on. And at this point, I still don't know that I have POTS. I'm basically like, I can't move. When I move a certain way, my entire body responds with feeling like someone's poured sand through me. And we worked on nervous system reconditioning. So something as simple as like a nerve glide was incredibly challenging for me. And a nerve glide is like, put your hand in a tray and just extend. I couldn't get past here. If I went here, I had the entire sensation of losing feeling in my hands and in my body. I could not feel my arms. If I did a twist, if I did any version of like a trunk rotation, I can't feel my legs. So clearly something was wrong on a nervous system level. Now, this is when I began to suspect that I had either gotten a CSF leak or that I had hurt a specific nerve that then was causing all of these sensations of feeling like I was going to faint. I couldn't feel my legs or my arms. I was getting blurry vision, kind of this whole host of symptoms that came out of the second time that I had COVID. And then I got COVID a third time. Now, this time around, it was like a normal cold. But the one thing that I noticed when I got it the third time is that it felt like my body was being electrocuted. And from that point on, in like February of 23, I started having the recurrence of like just periodic flu-like symptoms once a month. And I suspected that it could be periodic fever syndrome, but I don't meet the requirements for that. That was considered. There was like persistent something, I can't remember the name of it, but it was essentially like your body starts fighting itself like on a cycle, and then you just have to figure out why. And what happened to me is that I would have probably like I don't know, 3 weeks where I was functional, and like PT was hard. It made me feel like shit. I was just in constant pain. And like when you're reconditioning your nervous system, like it's not a joyful experience, but like one of the positives is that I knew that I was getting stronger. It also helped me trust my body again, because at this point I felt like my body was betraying me. And every single time I tried to go somewhere or do something, it gave up. Walking down the block, I could barely do. I had to walk at a snail's pace to get 2 blocks to the physical therapist. And then even then, I had to sit for 4 hours afterwards. I had to eat immediately after I did something. If not, I would faint. It's like my body was having such heightened responses to things. And like, I can't express to you how upsetting it is to have that happen. To be in a space where like you're supposed to be a healthy, like late 20s, early 30s person, and you can't do anything. Your world becomes so small. And the worst part was that everybody looked at me and said, "You're healthy." And I felt like I was nuts, because I basically would be like, "No, I'm not, no, I'm not, no, I'm not," to the point where I almost thought that I was causing my own symptoms. Like I thought that I was inducing illness. And yet some part of me was like, "No, you're not. There is something wrong, and you just need to figure out what it is." But I will tell you, this was one of the, if not the darkest periods, was like January of 23 through like September of 23, because that was such a space of hopelessness. It was this time where it's like, I have given everything I have. I have tried every avenue. I have been advocating for myself. I have fought for every single freaking thing that I can think of. And you mean to tell me that there is not a reason or an explanation for what's going on? And it's heartbreaking. And it's basically like this space of utter despair. And I was very lucky that I didn't experience SI. Like I stopped taking gabapentin. I basically was like, not doing this. And I was very lucky that I don't trend towards that. But there is nothing left in this tank. Like the level of anguish that I experienced, I didn't even think was possible. And you're doing it on your own because everyone around you says you're healthy. You're making it up. This can't be real. But in my case, it was.